For quite a long time researchers have been keen on investigating space to uncover what lies past our nearby planet group, yet the revelation of Oumuamua overwhelmed stargazers as they were questionable if it was an outsider spaceship, a comet, a space rock, or a completely unclassified item in a surprising new development. Oumuamua has abruptly showed up once more and is sending signs to Earth. What does this puzzling sign connote? Are we very nearly an outsider attack? Go along with us on this spellbinding excursion as we unwind the secret behind Oumuamua's return and these unusual new flags. Just a short time after the revelation of Oumuamua, an Israeli-American hypothetical physicist created a ruckus with the distribution of his notable book Extraterrestrial LB, proposed a stunning point of view contending that Oumuamua was as a matter of fact a particle test shipped off our planet, with the puzzling flying item being named a courier from a remote place. You would anticipate the science local area will embrace its outsider beginning, yet it's more complicated than that. That is the reason. Prior to diving into the purposes for Ouma's unexpected return and the message conveying messages to Earth, we have to investigate its temperament. And beginning in the harvest time of 2017, Robert WCK found Oumuamua utilizing the Container Stars Telescope at Hakal Observatory in Hawaii. The appearance of the bizarre flying article Oumuamua set off a significant upheaval in how we might interpret space. Yet what makes this item really phenomenal is that it's not Earth's most memorable experience with an unidentified divine object. Truth be told, Earth observers huge number of UFO unidentified flying item sightings each year. However, not every one of them are confirmed. Oumuamua anyway stands apart as one of the most captivating and secretive of all. When you hear the term UFO, you could imagine flying saucers guided by extraterrestrial creatures with huge oval heads and slim casings. Anyway, the truth is more nuanced. A UFO, or unidentified flying peculiarity, UAP, fills in as an expansive term, including any odd flying item that hasn't been recently distinguished or sorted, perhaps starting from past our planet, on the off chance that could be a space rock, vast trash, or even an outsider shuttle. The disclosure of Oumuamua addresses a long-expected second for researchers. Over the course of many years, they had speculated and enthusiastically anticipated such a groundbreaking occasion, planning to harden their confidence in the presence of heavenly domains past our nearby planet group. Now they have unmistakable, undeniable verification that the universe stretches out a long ways past the limits of our sun-powered framework. All things considered, Oumuamua surprised everyone. While researchers had expected a more traditional circular or sporadically molded divine body, Oumuamua's interesting properties set it separated. Upon beginning investigation, space experts compared its shape to a stogie or maybe a wiener, yet upon closer assessment it became clear that Oumuamua had the state of a flapjack. Its size was moderately unobtrusive, estimating around 377 feet long, 364 feet in width, and 62 feet in thickness. While this might appear to be significant for an interstellar article, it's similarly minimal. The tale of Oumuamua's revelation is all around as arresting as the actual article. On October 19, 2017, stargazers detected this strange item floating through our nearby planet group. By then, Oumuamua had been moving for 40 days since its nearest way to deal with the sun, and was a faltering 21 million miles from Earth. Getting away from the sun, to place this into point of view, that distance is approximately multiple times the range between the Moon and Earth. When Oumuamua was at first found, it was one of a kind. The Worldwide Cosmic Association at first assigned it as 1I207U1, thinking it was a comet. Later, it was found that the item had no comet's tail. Anyway, the space rock grouping additionally missed the mark, and when its extraterrestrial beginning was unequivocally settled, the name Oumuamua started to acquire ubiquity. This name mirrors the conviction that it's a courier from space, which was significantly more obvious in its return, where it begun conveying disturbing messages to Earth. These signs were gotten by decisively situated telescopes on Earth. After its most memorable visit, information with respect to Oumuamua's direction was gotten through instruments like the Skillet Stars 1 telescope, a piece of the Space Watch Review, the Canada-France Hawaii Telescope CFHT, the extremely enormous Telescope VT, and the Gemini South Telescope in Chile, along with the Keck Telescope in Hawaii. Oumuamua, being both little and weak, represented a considerable test for perception, particularly as it was at that point a few million miles away when we previously saw it in truth. It slipped by everyone's notice in sound system high 1A perceptions close to perihelion on September 9, 2017, in light of the fact that its splendor had diminished to an evident extent of around 13.5 as it proceeded to retreat from Earth. It turned out to be progressively hard to see toward the finish of October. Its brilliance had blurred to a clear extent of 23, delivering it practically imperceptible to the stripped eye. Oumuamua's unusual direction gives understanding into its expected beginning as per stargazers. It seems to have come from the course of Vega, a star in the LRA heavenly body. Oumuamua's orbital whimsy, estimating around 1.20, is the most noteworthy at any point noticed yet. What does all this logical language mean? We should separate it with an orbital whimsy that high Oumuamua can surpass the sun's departure speed, delivering it unbound to our nearby planet group. This infers that it could ultimately withdraw our planetary group and excursion to different corners of the universe. This revelation affirms that Oumuamua is for sure an interstellar item starting from a sun-powered framework. A large number of miles from our own few hypotheses have been proposed by researchers to make sense of the beginning of this confounding article. We should investigate these thoughts individually as we dive further into unwinding the secrets encompassing Oumuamua. Is Oumuamua a remark? Oumuamua's presence in our inestimable area has charmed researchers, uncovering new disclosures and raising different clarifications. At first, specialists accepted it very well may be a comet, yet that thought was rapidly exposed. Curiously, the hypothesis of Oumuamua being a comet has as of late reemerged. So what precisely is a comet? Comets are dazzling heavenly elements. They're basically huge interstellar particles made out of residue and ice that pursue a circle around the sun. If you somehow managed to summarize their most unmistakable component, it would without a doubt be their long streaming stories. These vast migrants are much of the time considered relics from the beginning of our nearby planet group, remainders abandoned from the turbulent development of the planets and stars billions of years prior. In a manner, they're like time containers of the universe, safeguarding a depiction of a period when the sun, stars, and planetary bodies were still in their vast support. Yet what do these comets resemble? Envision them as enormous chunks of residue and ice with a frozen center, properly known as the core. Ordinarily, a comet's core estimates around 10 miles in measurement, which is very significant about the size of an unassuming community. Anyway, these cores stay frozen until they adventure near our sun. As they draw close to our star, the sun's intensity changes the frosty center into gas, and this outgassing produces brilliant plains of gas and residue that path behind the comet. The cooperation between this gas and the going with dust makes a voluminous dim cloud around the core, suitably named the unconsciousness. You've presumably seen imaginative portrayals of comets with their particular tails. In actuality, comets typically have two separate tails. The residue tail, extending for a great many miles, follows a wide, tenderly bending way behind the comet, while the particle tail reliably focuses straightforwardly away from the sun. In the past, Earth has been visited by a few comets. These heavenly guests give us priceless brief looks into their arrangement and construction, offering pieces of information about the universe's functions. One such heavenly explorer is Hall's Comet. This monstrous comet traverses roughly 5 miles in width and 16 mil long. It follows a lengthened circle like numerous comets and circles the sun about each 75 to 76 years. The last time we had the delight of seeing the divine wonder was in February 1986. Anyway, this wasn't whenever Hall's Comet first graced us with its presence. Later, its perception in 1682. English space expert Edmund High, the comet's namesake, reasoned that comets follow occasional examples. He strikingly anticipated return in 1757. An expectation surprisingly came to completion. There's even proof that Hall's Comet showed up in the 1066 Narrows woven artwork, highlighting its well-established association with our planet, while Hall's Comet takes the spotlight. Not by any means the only comet has gone through our divine space. One less popular, however similarly captivating comet is Shoemaker-Levy 9, which showed up not on the planet but rather on our adjoining planet Jupiter. Researchers accept this comet divided into 21 pieces under the impact of Jupiter's gravitational powers in 199-92, eventually colliding with the gas Goliath in 1994. This astronomical crash was seen from Earth, and even from the Galileo space test the effect was assessed to be comparable to the explosion of 6 million megatons of dynamite, a genuinely shocking occasion. Then there's Comet Hyakutake, a frosty blue drifter with a weak tail. This comet is well known for putting on one of the most enthralling comet shows in 20 years. In Walk 1996, it passed inside 9.3 million miles of Earth, denoting the nearest it had come to the Sun in around 9,000 years. This experience was uncommon for its closeness as well as for its capacity to surprise researchers as it crossed interstellar space. Comet Hyakutake transmitted X-beams at levels 100 times more extraordinary than expected. In 1996, the Ulysses space apparatus unintentionally wandered through the comet's story. This spontaneous experience uncovered that this heavenly marvel extended over a amazing 350 million miles, making it one of the biggest comets at any point noticed. It's almost 2 times the length of some other realized comet, featuring its unprecedented size. These are only a couple remarkable models in the fantastic grandiose motorcade of comets. Different comets, for example, Hale-Bopp Comet, Borley Comet, Anna, and Sanctuary Tuttle, have all likewise influenced our heavenly record. The interest encompassing Oumuamua has provoked a few researchers to reevaluate their underlying decisions. Jennifer Bergner and Daryl Seligman, recently referenced, have returned to the possibility that Oumuamua may be an interstellar comet. Their speculation recommends that regardless of its unconventional shape, generally little size, furthermore, particular flight design, Oumuamua could for sure be a comet of interstellar beginning. While most comets are wealthy in eye and delivery extensive measures of water, fume gas, and residue while drawing closer the Sun, UUA acts diversely. Perceptions of Oumuamua didn't uncover the regular comet tail, which raised questions about its characterization anyway. Berner, drawing from her broad aptitude in frigid space objects, proposed an extraordinary clarification. She hypothesized that Oumuamua could have ousted hydrogen gas into space, giving it an uncommon exhalation. This particular method of development can be ascribed to the radiation that pervades space. When this radiation collaborates with the water ice on Oumuamua, it produces hydrogen, which becomes caught underneath or inside the article's surface. When the sun's energy strikes Oumuamua, it sets off the arrival of this hydrogen gas, pushing the article with impressive speed. While this hypothesis has all the earmarks of being quite possibly of the most conceivable clarifications, it's in no way, shape, or form me the most captivating. Are you prepared to dig into the most bizarre hypothesis on this flying item? Could Oumuamua be a piece of an exploded planet? 2 astrophysicists at Arizona State College, Alan Jackson and Stephen Desch, set forward one of the most broadly acknowledged speculations with respect to the beginning of Oumuamua. Their hypothesis, considered one of the most strong clarifications to date, recommend that this exceptional hotcake-formed heavenly item started from a far-off planet in one more nearby planet group a great many miles from our own. They propose that a space rock impact with that obscure planet in the far-off past caused a part to break free and set out on an enormous excursion through space. Stargazers sorted out that this item didn't begin inside our nearby planet group by fastidiously investigating its direction. When it was recognized in our nearby planet group on October 19, 2017, it was well on out of our heavenly area, wandering into the significant ranges of profound space as a component of its epic venture through the huge universe. Oumuamua made a concise refueling break on our green Earth, filling in as a courier that indicated the presence of different universes past our own. Anyway, the genuine interest lies in the disclosure that Jackson and Desch have not just pinpointed a potential source for this odd article, however, have additionally figured out how to find the idea of the planet from which it came. In their examination, they reasoned that Oumuamua in all probability started from an exop Pluto. Now, what precisely is an exop Pluto? You might ponder. In straightforward terms, an exop Pluto is an exoplanet that bears a striking likeness to Pluto, the Bantam planet in our planetary group. By dissecting the synthetic creation and actual design of Oumuamua, analysts established that the parent body from which this particular item broke free following a space rock influence should have firmly looked like Pluto. An interesting association emerges when we dive into NASA's new Skyline space apparatus flyby of Pluto and its moons on July 14, 2015 during its central goal to concentrate on the Bantam planet very close this mission. Divulged elements, for example, the Sputnik plum on Pluto's surface separates these areas. Is that they basically contain frozen nitrogen lakes. Nitrogen is hard to come by on Earth aside from. For the overflow found on Pluto. Given this revelation, researchers hypothesized that Oumuamua could be a section of nitrogen ice launched, a nitrogen-rich twin of Pluto in a distant nearby planet group. This disclosure is downright surprising as it suggests the presence of another planet much the same as Pluto somewhere else in the universe. It additionally proposes that there could be other planets like our own, possibly holding on to keen life or even creatures further developed than us. These speculative human advancements may be similarly as anxious to investigate our edge of the universe as we are to investigate theirs. Could Oumuamua be a spaceship from a different universe? The logical agreement inclines towards regular clarifications for Oumuamua, yet there are justifications for why some still put stock in the chance of the item having an extraterrestrial beginning. How likely is it that inside the endless scope of the universe we are the main civilization? It appears exceptionally far-fetched, doesn't it, yet, since there hasn't been any substantial logical proof affirming the presence of these extraterrestrial creatures or their cutting-edge innovation. Most researchers excuse the narratives and records as simple creations, yet is